Hi, it's Emma from Women in Golf, and Jamie is now going to be talking to us about one of the most important, well, he says one of the most important exercises in golf.
So we're going to go over a hip hinge. So the hip hinge pattern, more commonly done in the gym as a deadlift. Lots of variations here. The most common one people know is the barbell deadlift from the floor, but we're actually going to start with a Romanian deadlift, which is a top-down deadlift. So it's how I like to train the deadlift pattern. It really enforces us getting into the hips and getting into the posterior chain. So when I say posterior chain, I mean our hamstrings, our glutes, our lower back and our mid back. So basically everything down the back part of the body. Really important for golf in power production and in injury prevention. So we're going to use a resistance band. So I want you to stand on the band, basically.
In the middle?
Yeah, so in the middle of the band, holding it either side. Nice narrow stance. So unlike the squat this time, feet nice and close together. So if you just start standing up, straight up for me. So this is going to be our start position. I really like having a wall or something as feedback behind. So from there, I want you to get a little bit of softness in the knees. And that's it. So the knees aren't going to really be driving the motion here. The motion is driven by the hips. A little bit of softness in the knees. And then I want you to basically push your hips back to the wall behind until you feel like your hamstrings are on fire. And then once you feel that, stand up and push the hips forward. Good. That's it. So when you're in this position here and you're pushing your hips back, you should feel like all the pressure is in the heels. So the pressure shifts into the heels. You can almost tap your toes at the bottom position because that's how much shift there is into the heels. You're really loading into the hips.
It's actually really tough.
You stay nice and tall through the trunk. So you stay nice and strong through here and then driving forward. Good. So if we do the same but from kind of sidewards on. So obviously just take care getting in and out of the band. You don't want the band coming up and hitting you. So nice narrow stance, band in the middle.
And so the band in the middle of your feet.
Band in the middle of the feet. Start nice and upright. Little bit of softness in the knees, and then you're going to feel like you push your hips back, So in this bottom position, your forearms and your knees should be in pretty good alignment.
And it should feel quite relaxed at the bottom.
Yeah, if you see the knees kind of way in front of the forearms, indication there's a little bit too much knee bend and we need to get more into the hips. So it's tilting the hips back, minimal knee bend, and staying nice and strong through the torso. That's it.
A bit better like that?
So it's a little bit less kind of knee bend. The more you can feel like you're tilting. The best way to think about it normally is to feel like your hamstrings are on fire. If you're not getting it in the hamstrings, you're probably getting a little bit too much knee bend. And then pushing through the floor and standing up quickly.
That's better. I think that's better.
Yeah, so if you had a belt buckle on the way up, you push through the floor and let that belt buckle come forward as quickly as you can.
Brilliant. And why is this one so important?
So this is about pushing through the floor. So a lot of modern golf coaching talks about using the ground force reactions. So we have that little bit of a drive and load in the golf swing, and then we have this kind of pushing up motion here. So we're working on that pushing into the ground and what's called kind of extension of the ankles, the hips and the knees. And we're also strengthening hamstrings, glutes, lower back, which are big power producers for the golf swing, but obviously as well in the case of the lower back in particular, injury kind of sites that a lot of people suffer with. So if we can get them strong, we can help hit the ball further and reduce our injury risk.
Brilliant.